Hi Flosstube, I'm Rachel, Stitchy Rach here on Flosstube and also on Instagram. It is Thursday the 17th of June and this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch because I like cross stitch. Welcome back stitchers, how are you all? I will warn you in advance that my hay fever has been terrible this week. So if I do have to stop and itch my nose, I am sorry. But it has been really, really bad. I haven't been able to go out in my garden because every time I do, I feel like I can't breathe. It's so debilitating at the moment, and hopefully it's raining quite hard today, so I'm hopefully that will bed all the pollen down and make life a bit more bearable for those of us that are finding it somewhat difficult at the moment. So that's mainly what's been going on in my life. The fact that hay fever means I have itchy eyes, itchy nose and can't breathe. So I'll try and stop talking about it because I think it's making my nose itch more. And I've just realised I just spoke super fast. So I will also try and slow down. Hasn't been a very eventful week here, really. It's, yeah, same old. Same old. So I've already taken the dog for a walk today because it was a bit rainy and I decided it'd be nice for us to get out and get it done. But he had a lovely time rolling in all the wet grass, so that was nice for him. Right, I'll just crack on with the stitching because, as I say, uneventful life at the moment. So I, this week, have no FFOs. You'll be amazed to hear that I have no fully finished objects, or finally flipping overs as they are on this channel. I do have a finish. I have 3 whips to show you. I have quite a bit of haul and I have an old FFO to show you. So I'll start with that and then we can move on to some of the stitching I've been doing this week. So my old FFO that I brought to show you this week is, see if I can show you without too much glare. There you go. Ooh, it's all wonky. There we go. Needles Dance. So this pattern was originally released at Market 2018 and was a collaboration between Hands On Design, Ink Circles and Summerhouse Stitchworks. And at the time it was a Market exclusive, but it is now released and is more widely available. I got it as a Market release from Sue at Peakside Needleworks, Peakside. And so this is the full kit. This is all the called for. So it's the over-dyed threads, which I think were all classic Colourworks. Can't remember now. It's the blue white shell called for. And it came as a lovely kit. So you put it all in a nice kit box for us. I started this as my new start in 2019. And I finished it later that year. I think probably in about April or May. And then I took it to my local framers, Peppercorn Frames in Headcorn in Kent, if you live in Kent and know where that is. So there we go. I really, really love this piece. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's one of my favourite things I've ever stitched. I love having it in my house, and every time you look at it you see like a new bit. I love these needles and these deer down here. I love the little scissors. I love the rabbits. I just love absolutely everything about it. As I say, one of my favourite stitches ever. Steph from Just Keep Stitching started this the same day. I think hers is still a whip. But great minds think alike. I'd love to see yours, Steph, and see where it is. Not that I think you watch, but if you do see this, I'd love to see it. There we go. So that's that one. So it is still a widely available chart. So if you like it, go and grab it. But I love it. So that was my old FFO. Hope you're enjoying seeing those. People in the comments said they wanted to see some more. So as I say, I'll try and do one of those a week until I run out. Okay, so what have I been stitching this week? Well, I said I had a finish, and I do. So my finish is my Lizzie Kate September yearbook flip it. There we go. So that's what the pattern looks like. And that's what mine looks like. Sorry for the massive, massive crease down the middle of the fabric. So this is stitched on a 28 count Permin linen that I bought from XG Designs in a spring collection bag. So I think there were 8 pieces of fabric, all in different colours, and I stitched the whole series on pieces from that bag. It's stitched in all the called for, so it's mainly Weeks Dye Works with a couple of DMCs. I think that pink in the pig is DMC, but the rest of Weeks Dye Works. And I finished that, I think, on Tuesday. Was Tuesday the 14th? It might be Monday. Ooh, one day I finished it anyway. If you watched last week, you'll know that I had lost the scissors out of this project bag, and also I couldn't find the charms for September and October. I still can't find the charms. It must be said, I haven't ripped the house and my car apart, so it could be that they'll still turn up. As I say, I haven't ripped the house apart, but I did find the scissors, and they were down the gap between the driver's seat and the console thing that you have your gear stick on. So I found those. I think my entire life might be down that gap some days. But yes, so I finished this week. Hurrah! That is my second finish for June, because I also finished August, and I showed you that last week. I'm now going to put these flippets away. I just feel a bit, I've done a lot of them recently, so now that September's finished, I want a little break from them. I've changed up my out and about stitching, and I'll show you what I'm taking out and about later. Right, what else have I been stitching this week? So, as you know, I said I was going to do a semi-monogamous June on my Lucy Heaton alphabet sampler, which, let me find a cover photo. Sorry, it's a bit wrinkled. It's just a PDF print off. Is this one? It's called Bouncing Babies ABC, and it is available on her website. And I, like last week, I'm still working on this N is for night block. So I know I said I was going to have a semi-monogamous June on this, and then last night I thought, oh my god, it's the 16th of June and I still don't feel like I'm making much progress. And I had a bit of a count up through my diary where I keep track of what I've been stitching, and so far in June I think I'd stitched on that for 7 days and had 9 days where I'd stitched on anything but that. So I'm really trying to now knuckle down and actually give this some focus, because I do want this to be finished, and it is big and it needs some focus. Having said all that, I'll show you where I am. So I think when I showed it to you last week, I just started the top of the owl, but as you see, I have made some progress. I've filled in some more of the blue. I've done quite a few of these branches. The owl is down to the branch he's sitting on, or she's sitting on. So yeah, I have made some good progress, and I do think they do look amazing, these motifs. I think the blending of the colours is just so clever. The needle minders from Caterpillar Cross Stitch, they do great needle minders. They're enamel. They have some really beautiful ones. They often release them to go along with their stitch alongs, but you can buy them just separately as needle minders. And this is Carlos, their kind of mascot caterpillar. So that's Carlos. So that's where I am. I hope by next week when I film, I will have this block finished and have made some reasonable progress on another block, but we'll see. This is stitched in all the called for DMC on 36 count white linen by Zweigart. So nothing fancy here. But they are big. But as you can see, there has been some progress. I only stitched on this for 4 days since I last saw you. The other 3 I stitched on something else, which I'll show you in a minute. So as I say, the semi-monogamous is more the semi than the monogamous. But hopefully for the next part of the month, it will be more monogamous. So that's where I am on that one. This pattern, if I didn't say earlier, is still available on Lucy Heaton's website, which I will link below. Okay. So then what distracted me from my monogamous June? Well, it's what I said it might be last week. So at the weekend, the first part of the Little Women SAL by Stitching Book Club dropped, and that is what it looked like. And so I picked that up and I thought I will stitch that part before heading back to my alphabet sampler. And I don't know what happened, but this had 3 days of stitching and I don't feel it shows 3 days of progress. So this is where I am. There. And I don't think that should be 3 days of stitching. So I did have to rip a bit out up here. But I don't know. I don't know if I was just stitching really slowly or I was distracted or... I don't know. But that, to me, does not look like 3 days of stitching. Certainly not of my stitching. And I don't have loads of stitching time. But anyway. Because I thought if I gave it 3 days, I'd get part 1 finished. Because on the Sense and Sensibility SAL, which was the last SAL from Stitching Book Club, 3 days would easily get me to finish a part. But given how little progress I was making, I decided to put it down because I want to get progress on the alphabet sampler. So maybe when the next part drops, I'll kind of give this a bit more time and get it all done. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed, not with the pattern or anything, just with my seeming lack of progress. I am stitching this in all the called for on 40 count antique white linen by Zweigart. It must be said that Perpetual Projects on Instagram has done a really great colour conversion on this, which is much more muted than this. And I think if I had seen her colour conversion before starting, I may well have gone with it. So if you have this but haven't started yet, go look at Perpetual Projects colour conversion. I wasn't going to restart, but her colour conversion is beautiful and I will link her below. But she's, yeah, loved her colour conversion. So that's my meagre progress on Little Women. I'm whizzing through this week, aren't I? Okay, and then my final whip is my new Out and About stitching. So this is Dear Santa, I've Been Good from Lizzie Kate. And I am doing the bigger piece here. This was a Stitch Mania start in 2020. So it's had a couple of outings since then. Obviously for Stitch Mania this year, but I think I stitched on it a little bit around Christmas in 2020 as well. I think this has some good chance of being finished before my children break up for the summer, because obviously once the children break up from school for the summer, all the out and about stitching kind of stops, because all the clubs stop and all the school pickups stop and yada yada, and yeah, just that kind of stitching is less part of life. this is where I am, and I have high hopes that I can finish this, as I say, before they break up from school. So this week I finished that stocking at the top. I completed the word I've. I did this thing of lights that needs a few more lights on. So I thought the lights are quite boringly charted in my opinion. I suppose it depends on what your tree's like, but we've always had multicoloured fairy lights on our trees, so, you know, yellow and blue and yada yada. So I want that string of lights to be a more multicoloured string. So I did the red and the pink, but then instead of the white and the green, I think I'm going to do yellow and blue bulbs. And obviously, as this was out and about and those colours aren't called for, they weren't in my project bag, which is why I left those off. So I will go back and fill in the two different coloured lights I want. Then I finish time, and then I'm halfway through this candy cane. And that's only since I finished September. So as you can see, it does stitch up pretty quickly, which is why I'm quite confident that I'll get it done, because I've only got 2 more lines of writing and these presents and Christmas tree at the bottom, and I don't think that will take overly long. This is stitched in the DMC conversion from the chart. So the original stitched in Weeks Dye Works, and then they give you a DMC conversion, which I am using. The only other thing I've changed apart from the lights is this candy cane was charted in white and that pink from the stocking, and I don't think candy canes are pink. I thought that was a bit weird, so I changed it to the red that's in the chart rather than the pink. But yeah, it's stitched in the DMC, and this is kind of an off-white 28 count even weave. I don't know what it's called. It's just a scrap of something I had. It's a fabric flare fabric that I bought from Lakeside Needlecraft, but I can't tell you what it's called. But it's a 28 count even weave, which is not something I regularly stitch on even weave anymore. So it's nice for a change. So that's what I've been stitching out and about. So that's all my stitching. But I do have some haul to show you. So I said last week I'd been a little bit spendy and it wasn't here. Well, it's here now. And I'll show you the thing I was most excited about. Although, I do have to say, before I show it to you, I'll show it to you first and I'll tell you. So I bought the Sampler and Antique Needlework DVD. There are 80 magazines on here, and if you don't have this, it is so worth it. I got my copy from Patchwork Rabbit. I haven't had a chance to look through all 80 magazines yet. I think I've done about 10 or 15, and there's just some amazing projects in here. I can't wait to get going on some of them. It's really, I was a bit dubious as to how a DVD of patterns would work, because in my not very technological mind, a DVD is more kind of something you watch on TV, and I'm like, how's that gonna work? And I dropped Momma Loves You GB, Michelle, a line because she has this, and she was really kind, because I'm sure she gets loads and loads of messages, and told me how it worked for her. So thank you, Michelle. But I have now downloaded all of the content of the DVD onto our home server. But you could just do one PDF at a time. It's genuinely easy to use and print from and save. So don't let the format put you off. What you will need is a DVD drive for your computer. So I think most computers don't come with a DVD drive now. I have a laptop that doesn't have a DVD drive, but you can buy ones that you can just plug in, like a USB point. So again, don't let the format put you off. And I can't see now that I will need the DVD again because I've put it all on my server. I will keep it, but it's much more easy for me to access them from my server than constantly having to find the DVD and plug it in. So what I am annoyed about is this morning when I took my kids to school, I forgot to put the dog in the crate. Our dog is still young. He's not quite 1. So I usually put him in the crate while I take the children to school because he can be a bit naughty. And I forgot this morning. We were in a big rush and there's been a bit of a falling out between 2 of them. And I just forgot. And I got home and he had shredded a whole box of tissues, which, given the hay fever situation, not helpful. And the other thing he'd done was this. The dog knows not to touch the cross-stitch stuff. Was not happy. Fortunately, DVD is still in the DVD drive, so it's actually only the box, and it's not trashed. I can still close it. But I was mighty annoyed by that dog. So yeah, don't leave cross-stitch stuff around a dog. So that was my super exciting purchase. As I say, I got that from the Patchwork Rabbit. They had quite a few in stock, so head over and grab yourself one. And obviously it couldn't come to me alone, so I wanted something to go with it. And I decided on the JBW Antique Rooster Sampler. I love this. Now, my children's nursery teacher is a very funny lady, and she does appeal to parents as well as children. You can see the full thing there inside. Sorry, it is quite small. She does appeal to parents as well as children. And when my eldest was in the nursery class at school, she came home and she said, do you know what my teacher's least favourite animal is? I said, no. And she said, my teacher's least favourite animal is a cock, because they wake you up in the morning. And I'm like, it totally wasn't because she wanted all the kids to go home and go, her least favourite animal was a cock. So anyway, I saw this and it did make me chuckle. Not only is it a beautiful sampler, whenever I see a cockerel now, they make me chuckle. And obviously I love my hens too. So it ticked a lot of boxes. The only thing I will say about it is, for the size of sampler, it is a very small chart. If you struggle to see small charts, you might want to enlarge this, if you can, for a working copy. Let me see if I can just show you what I mean without showing too much of the chart. So that's the top border. And I think that is quite small to see. So that's the only thing I would say. Is I was expecting something a little bigger, but it's fine. And I'm thinking I might take this when we go away. I might take this as a new start for my holiday. The only thing that makes me hold off is that I am a terrible holiday stitcher. I don't know if anyone else has this problem. I fully intend to stitch on holiday. I take the stuff and then I never open it. I don't know why. I tend to be a reader on holiday and not so much of a stitcher. So I'll see. I might take it. You end up being like, know thyself. Don't fill the car with cross-stitch stuff that you're not going to use. But I'll think about it. So that was the other thing that I got to come with my DVD. Then, got some fabric. So the other thing that came from Patchwork Rabbit is I am in their Fabric of the Month Club from Picture This Plus. So I got my new fabric. And this, I get a fat quarter of 40 count, and this is Twilight. Now that is showing a bit, it's not quite showing right. Let's see if I bring it back here. That's a bit better. So it's a lovely blue, and I quite like dark fabric. As I've said before, I don't mind stitching on dark fabric. I have never stitched on dark 40 count. I've stitched on dark 36 count. So dark 40 can't be that different, can it, if you've got good light? And I am looking at it, and I can see the holes. Whether I could see them at night, even with a good light, I'm not sure, but it's beautiful, so I'll have to think of something to, or a few things to put on that. I think Liz Matthews has a Christmas pattern that I don't have, that you can stitch on blue with white or white fabric with blue. I think it's all Quakery snowflakes in my head. I might have to go and have a look at that. But yes, love that. I love the mottling here. Beautiful. I've been watching a few Rip Dye tutorials on Instagram this week. Again, inspired by Momma Loves You GB, showing all her gorgeous hand-dyed fabrics. And I do have some Rip Dye, and I'm thinking of having a go. I'll have to wait until I can get some fabric by the meter, because Wool Warehouse is currently out of stock of the counts I would want. But yes, I'm thinking about giving that a go, so stay tuned. In the next few weeks I might be able to show you something I've dyed myself. Right, I have one more piece of haul to show you. So I'm just going to take these out of the packets. Bear with me, I should have done this before. Sorry, crinkle. They're not too crinkly. I should have done this before I started filming. But I thought the packets were a bit easier to open than they are. They're more sticky. So the other thing I bought was 2 pieces of fabric from Northumberland Sampler House. So she has started dyeing fabric, and when she's dyed it, she posts on Instagram. She has, but you buy it through Etsy. And I managed to get 2 pieces of 40 count this week, and they're just a really beautiful colour for samplers, as you'd expect from Northumberland Sampler House. She also charts lots of samplers for restoration, to fund restoration of needlework. So go and have a look. I will link her below, both her her Etsy, yeah. And these are the 2 I got. They're both 40 count. I'm trying to hold them together so you can see the difference. So this one that won't behave is light sand, keeps dropping down, look, and the other one is sand. I'm trying to get some of the glare off, but they are showing pretty true. They may be a little darker than they're showing there. The other good thing she does is when she sells her fabric, she puts a skein of DMC next to it with the number of that DMC, so you can really tell roughly what colour it is. So yes, when you go on her Etsy, there'll be a picture of the fabric and a skein of DMC on top of it that matches the fabric, and you'll be able to see the number on the skein, so you get a really good idea of the kind of colour of the fabric, because obviously, as we all know, lighting and photographing fabric can be very, very tricky. So there you go, there are my 2 pieces from Northumberland Sampler House. The darker one is 17 by 13 and the lighter one is 16 by 13. So both good sizes for 40 count for a sampler. So I'm excited about getting to use those. Super. Well, I think that's about all I have got for you this week. Been loving seeing the StitchCon photos and videos and chat. Not at all envious, not even a little bit. Not envious at all. Totally envious. But that's all I have for you this week. So I hope you have enjoyed hanging out with me and seeing my stitching. And I hope you'll come back next time. Thank you if you have liked or commented or subscribed. I really appreciate the support, and I enjoy reading your comments and what you think about what I've shown. So please carry on doing it. But I am waffling, so have a good week, Stitchers. I'll see you later. Bye.